Hey guys, I'm Carter.
And I'm Austin.
And welcome back to CCA TV. Today we have a very, very special episode for you guys since today is just before the Saturday of the 20th anniversary of 9/11. So please, we're just going to take this time to remember those that have lost their lives. We're going to go ahead and go right into the Pledge of Allegiance.
Now for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today we have prepared a special video to remember those that lost their lives during the 9/11 tragedy. Here it is.
I do walking tours of the 9/11 Memorial for the 9/11 Tribute Center. And I meet people on my tours from all four corners of the globe. On every one of my tours, I mention that most people don't remember what they did yesterday. But I have had so many guests on my tours come up to me and say that they remember every single detail about where they were and what they were doing on September 11th, regardless of where they're from.
When you talk to anybody, say, and you tell them where you were on September 11th, they'll tell you exactly where they were, because even though they may not have been in the building, but they'll definitely remember where they were.
People always remember every single moment of that day around the world, because September 11, 2001 is not just New Yorker's story, it's not just my story, but it is international part of history and a history of every single person in the world.
And what I say to my guests all the time is, that's your 9/11 story, and you should tell it, because by telling it, by doing so, you help us to share history, and you help us to keep the spirit of what happened here alive. I'm inspired by that. That gives me so much hope.
I believe September 11th would be the equivalent of D-Day for certain generations, or Pearl Harbor, or when JFK was assassinated. Those seminal, markers in your history, in your lifetime.
My cousin was in Pearl Harbor. My father and grandfather remember Pearl Harbor. These generations will need to remember.
I think it's important to try to remember some tragedies. Remember that life can be very precious and can be gone in a flash.
These are emotional memories that cannot be translated into a textbook. These are stories that we tell people, and hopefully the generation will understand this here and bring it forward to the next generation.
I feel that a lot of people use September 11th to remember the wrong things, to remember the divisions instead of what brought us together. And I think as more and more time goes by, more and more people just remember the hate that caused that act instead of the love that followed it. We were all one that day. People from New York, DC, all over the country and all over the world. Everybody was united. I think that's why everybody remembers where they were, because everybody's heart was here. I remember.
I remember.
I remember September 11th.
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 So apart from these different remembrances that we're going to have today, we do have some small announcements that we are going to be giving to you guys. So let's go right into sports news.
Yesterday, middle school volleyball had a game against Legacy Christian Academy. They lost 2 sets to 3 sets. And varsity had another game against Legacy Christian Academy, and they also lost 2 sets to 3 sets.
And then apart from those different scores, all teams have practices today. And now we're going to be transitioning into SGA announcements. So for those of you guys that don't know, today is election day for our SGA. So the polls for these different elections have been posted in Teams for grades 11, 8, and 7. And so if those are not your grades, your representatives have already been elected, and you can find the links to vote for them in Teams. Please only vote for your grade, and that is very, very important. We should have these results by Monday for you guys, and we will have our SGA representatives elected. So moving on to our final tribute for today, we're going to ask you guys to please stand in remembrance of those that have lost their lives in the 9/11 tragedy as we remember the 20th anniversary of this attack.